and gentlemen, this is Ron Waller with the Balling Down South Sports Network, and I have a treat for you guys today. A Division I football head coach out of Georgia. He's taking his team to back-to-back bowl games. Last season, they were ranked number 2 in the Eastern Division of the Sun Belt Conference. Let me introduce you to none other than head football coach Chad Lunsford. How you doing today, Coach?
Man, I'm doing great. Thank y'all for having us on. Love talking Georgia Southern football.
Yes, sir. You guys, you've been at Georgia Southern now for quite some time, but 3 years as a head coach, and this is going to be going on your 4th year. Is that correct?
Well, actually, I'll be going into my 3rd full season as the head coach. In 2017, I was the interim head coach for the last 6 games, and then so I'll be going into my 3rd full.
3rd full, man. I can tell you this, you guys. I can tell you your first full season, you took the team 10-3. You took them to the Raycom Media Bowl where you guys played Eastern Michigan, and you guys actually won 23-21. So I can say, as a short time as a head football coach at a Division I school, I can tell you that is pretty good. And then to go back to back, went to a bowl game last season versus Liberty, and you guys lost that one, but that was a tough loss for you guys. Talk a little bit about your history coming up through the ranks of coaching and getting to where you are now.
Well, I kind of took a abnormal path. I didn't play college football. I actually came out of high school and thought about walking on, and decided not to. Got away from football my first year in college, and just kind of missed that team atmosphere, just being a part of something. And so I went over at Georgia Military College and I volunteered, and shoot, man, I towed water, film practices, do the equipment, wash the clothes, cut the grass, paint the field, whatever I was told to do, I'd do. And just kind of hung around. And then I had a lot of people bless me because they kept giving me opportunities. So I got a great start at Georgia Military College and learned a lot about coaching. And, then having the ability to become an assistant coach at Appalachian State University under a great head coach, Jerry Moore, and then move on from there. And I actually came to Georgia Southern as assistant coach in 2003 through 2006. And then I did a little bit of time at the high school level at Griffin High School, and that was a treat for me. That taught me a lot of patience. Man, Friday nights were great. The environment at Griffin High, man, it was awesome. But just the whole grind that high school coaches go through for a week's time, and then try to get ready for a football game, man. Just hats off to high school coaches, man, because they really get after it. And so that was a really great experience for me. And then able to go back to Georgia Military, and then went on to Auburn and did some operational stuff, recruiting, director scouting type stuff, player personnel. Learned a lot about how a program works there, and then came back to Georgia Southern, and God's blessed me to become the head football coach here.
Now, I know at one season you guys had a couple of receiving corps that was like the top in the nation. Talk a little bit about that particular season when you guys were actually, hitting it on all cylinders, definitely with the wide receiver corps.
Yeah, I was able to coach the wide receivers here, and my second stint here, and they were very explosive. We're a run-first offense. We run the triple option, and so we're going to establish the run. We're going to try to dominate the run game. But dominating the run game includes being very explosive in the pass game. And so our guys were able to go make big plays off play action passes. And then we had a talented group, and we're really, our recruiting right now, man, we've got some really talented young receivers that I'm excited about. But back then, we had some very talented guys, 2 guys that actually played in the NFL a little bit with B.J. Johnson and Monte Crockett. But those guys did an awesome job for us. Were able to go make big plays when needed, and it was very explosive.
Now you mentioned that triple option. I've seen you guys play down here. You probably played against South Alabama. I can tell you that option is hard to defend against, and if you got some playmakers in the backfield, and that includes the quarterback, that is something that I think it's old school, but it works. Talk a little bit about how you guys are able to perfect that.
Well, one thing that we've done at Georgia Southern, Paul Johnson and Coach Russell, and they had built the option at Georgia Southern, and it was predominantly under center. When Coach Fritz got here in 2014 as the head football coach, we moved to more of a gun option attack. A lot of the same principles, but a little bit different, based off the inside zone instead of the veer. And, and when I became the head coach, I mean, we had recruited to that. And so I felt like it was important that we kind of stayed with that same style of offense. So we were able to bring Coach Bob DeBess in. He was at New Mexico, had been at Sam Houston State with Coach Fritz, and he was able to bring in his scheme, and it really fit our guys because we've got a very electric quarterback. I mean, we got a 4-year starter in Shy Wertz, and he's getting even better in the passing game. He's really a dual threat guy. And then we're really stacked at running back. Running back is probably one of our strongest positions on our team. I don't know if we're gonna have enough footballs to go around to get all those guys the ball, but we'll make sure the playmakers get the ball for sure.
Well, I can tell you this, you guys, you should be having guys coming back like Wesley Kennedy, Logan Wright, J.D. King, and of course, your quarterback. And with those guys in the backfield running that triple option should definitely be easy. I know Logan Wright, looking at some of your video, he was the lead back and pretty much your first option in that triple option. But one of your playmakers, Wesley Kennedy, you had him back there returning kicks as well. Talk a little bit about those guys.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, we do have weapons, and Logan obviously started the season out for us last year, being one of the main focal points because J.D. King was transferring from Oklahoma State, so we wasn't sure he was going to be eligible. And then he was granted eligibility the week of LSU. And then Wesley Kennedy was not able to play for us those first 4 games. And so Logan was a guy for us and was doing a really good job. And then unfortunately he got hurt. He had a neck injury that ended up, kind of keeping him out for the rest of the year. And a lot of it at the end was being precautionary. And, we wanted to make sure he was healthy for the following year. But those 3 guys, man, Wesley Kennedy is electric. I mean, he's a threat running the ball. He's a threat catching the ball. He's a threat being a kickoff return guy. He's a threat being a punt return guy. He's a guy that's got to have the ball in his hands, and people need to be yelling at me if we ain't getting the ball in his hands. So that's, he's a baller. Now, J.D. King, he really came on throughout the year. Early on, he was practicing with the 4th team because we didn't know he was going to be eligible. So he wasn't getting the majority of the reps. And so he really grew over the year as he started to get those reps. And he's really, he's a power back that has some speed, but has awesome vision. If we need to get a tough 2 yards, he'll go get you 4. And, and then if we need an explosive touchdown, he's able to do that too. And then when you talk about Logan Wright, man, he's a mixture of power and speed, really big guy, a big running back for us. So again, I think those guys are pretty special.
Now talk about you got 2 guys that are going to the league. You got Tyler Bass. Talk about him a little bit. One of your one of the probably best kickers in the Sun Belt Conference that ever played.
In my opinion, he was the best kicker in the country last year, and he ended up being the 2nd kicker taken in the draft. It kind of shocked me that the Patriots went a different direction. I don't know much about the kid at Marshall, so I can't really speak on that. But but then Buffalo went with Tyler, and it was very important that we had our pro day. Our pro day was happening right around when the virus was hitting and people were coming off the road. The pro scouts, man, they showed up, and the Buffalo Bills showed up and spent a lot of time with Tyler. And I mean, he really performed well. He did a good job throughout his career here, did a good job in the Senior Bowl, did a good job at the Combine, and then did a good job on our pro day, and that was able to get him drafted. But if I was going to say anything about him, man, he is a very confident clutch kicker with a very strong leg. If he has some trouble and one gets blocked or he misses one, he doesn't bat an eye, man. He goes right back out there and he kicks it. He's made a lot of big kicks for us. He's had 2 game-winning kicks at the end of games for us, and he's also hit some some pressure ones from distance, and just been a real big weapon. We're going to miss him.
I think his longest one was 50 yards.
Yeah, I believe it was either 50 or 51. If I had to do it all over again with his career, we had an opportunity at Clemson. Um, we were down. I believe we were down 24-7. We had just scored a touchdown. Defense got the ball back. We stalled on offense. We had an opportunity to kick a 60-plus yarder, and I ended up going for it just because it was so late in the game. But if I had it do all over again, I believe I would have kicked that one because there's no doubt in my mind he would have nailed it. We'd have went up 24-10, or excuse me, it would have been 24-10. We'd have came back, hit an onside kick. Tyler would have got that one, and we'd have been back in that ball game. So, but yeah, 50, 51. But that guy could hit it from 65. There's no question.
Now talk about Kendall on the defensive side. Got picked up by the Chicago Bears.
All right, so my favorite word to describe Kendall is technician. This is a guy that worked at his craft every day. He was a good player coming out of high school. You could tell he was a hard worker. When he got here, man, I mean, there was no days off for him. I mean, sometimes we had to say, "Hey, Kendall, man, you got to slow down, bro, because I mean, you're gonna wear your body out." But I mean, he works and works. He knew he had a goal in mind. He was a great teammate. He was a great Georgia Southern man. But he also knew that he was going to go pro, and he really worked at that. So I think Chicago's getting a guy that I don't know if this is the right word, but I mean he's scrappy. I mean he's going to fight, he's going to claw, he's going to scratch, he's going to do whatever he's got to do to be the guy. They're going to get a worker. I mean he's a blue collar guy, which should fit that town. Everything I've ever heard about Chicago. And I think they'll fall in love with that guy because he brings a different element to the team.
Now, you guys, Georgia Southern has a tradition of football, and it dates all the way back to 1987, where you guys have put people in the NFL, guys in the NFL. That speaks volumes for that university and for you guys' football program. Talk a little bit about some of the guys you got coming in. I was looking at some of the recruits you got coming in. Some of them, and they got some size on them. You got a lot of playmakers, athletes. I mean, you don't have to go down the whole list because I know it's a lot of them. Just talk about a few of the key guys.
Well, I'll say this, man. Our coaches have done a really good job of identifying guys that fit us, and they've identified guys that are good football players. And we always looking for guys that are blue collar, disciplined, and tough. And I tell our guys all the time, man, there's different talent levels on this team, and
different levels.
But it doesn't take talent to be blue collar, disciplined, and tough. And so I feel like we're really recruiting guys like that. But if you start talking about our signing class, you start with quarterback Sam Kennerson out of out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He was a kid, man, that had been recruited as an athlete by so many different schools, but really wanted to play quarterback. And so he was a guy that we're very excited about. We also signed another quarterback, Connor Wigelski, who's been a guy at Marist, has won a lot of football games. So very excited about him. I tell you, the one that ended up, I think, is a huge steal for us is Jalen White kid out of Alabama. This kid led the country in rushing. The Joker walks in the door and he looks like a defensive end, but he's a running back. Can run fast, can run powerful. So he's a guy, man. We got a lot of good running backs on our team, and I'm sitting there going, man, this dude may come in and compete right away. So we're excited about him. When you get over to the defensive side of the ball, we were able to go and we're able to get some guys in the defensive secondary. We signed several DBs and Tyler Bride. We've got a Duke transfer coming in and Javon Jackson. But we got several guys that, because we lost our corners in Kendall Vildor and Monquavian Brinson and Donald Rutledge. Donald Rutledge also went to the NFL, got signed with the Indianapolis Colts. So we're going to have some young guys step up in the secondary. But those are some guys also that have really done a good job. And I'm really excited about this freshman class.
Well, also too, looking at some of last season, you had several of your players make the president's list for academics.
Yeah, we talk about the total man here. We're not in this just to build football players. We want to build the total man. We call it the Georgia Southern man. And I ask our guys to get better. We want to get you better academically. We want to get you better athletically. We want to get you better socially, and we want to get you better spiritually if you choose. Obviously, that last one we leave up to them, but it's available to them. Um, and so when you start talking about our academic performance, I'm gonna say this. 2.5 years being the head football coach, we've had our best run of academic performance in program history. Now, I don't say that to say I've got anything to do with it. What I am saying is our staff has bought into our plan and our players have bought into our plan, and because of the work ethic and the dedication and the relationships they build, that's why we've been able to do that. I mean, our guys performed awesomely this past semester with all the stuff that was going on, getting sent home, going online. We had the highest GPA in spring semester history. Several guys, like you said, on the dean's list, president's list, honor roll. 54% of our team made a 3.0 or better. 71% were 20. Let's see, yeah, 71% was 2.5 or better. So
Wow.
I mean, never really when you start talking about 130 people on a football team and you start talking about grades like that, that's impressive. So hats off to our kids, hats off to our academic staff and our coaches for really working hard at it. Let me
Now,
tell you
have
one
you?
thing. I know you question, but here's my favorite stat. All right, since being the head coach, we have 100% graduation rate with our seniors. Either
Wow.
either our seniors have graduated or they're on track to graduate, and nobody has fell by the wayside as a senior. And that's one that right there. If we keep that thing 100%, I'll be so disappointed if we fall 99%. But right now we've got 100%, and that's probably my favorite stat.
Wow, that's commendable. That's awesome. Definitely for a program to be able to do that. Being a student athlete, to be able to keep that up, and I definitely hope you guys be able to do that. A lot of schools around the country need to take a look at you guys, the way you guys doing things down there, down south, down there. Have you guys heard any word from the NCAA, the president of the university, when you guys can get back in the gym, get back to training?
Yeah, we're actually phasing our guys in right now. We had a group of them come in on June 1st. We'll have a couple of them. We'll have a few of them come in on Thursday. And basically, what we're doing is we're quarantining them for 14 days. We're getting them tested, and then we're going to start phasing them into the weight room on June 15th. And we're going to start out in small groups. We're going to make sure we're socially distanced. We're going to make sure we're taking all the precautions. They'll do a medical check every day when they walk in the door. So we're taking all those. Health and safety is first and foremost the priority. But we did think it was important for June to be a phase-in month for us, so that July we could get it a little bit stronger.
Now, Coach, I looked at your schedule. I don't know if it's the full schedule online, but your first game, September 5th, you guys going to Boise, Idaho, to play against Boise State. So I know Boise State is always a good team to play against. They've always got some explosive guys at quarterback, receiver, and running back. I'm not to give away your game plan or anything like that, but talk a little bit about playing against a team like Boise State right off the bat from the beginning of the season.
Well, we're not too hard to figure out. I mean, we're going to run the football, we're going to run the option, and we're going to play good defense. But shoot, man, Boise State is a tremendous program. They've done an awesome job. They've obviously put their name on the map with their success against Power Five teams. So this is definitely a huge challenge for us. And we got so much respect for the Boise State program. I mean, if we wanted to emulate anybody's move up into the FBS, I mean, Boise would be one that you'd want to emulate. And so, a lot of respect for them, their program, their coaches, their players. What I'll say is our guys, they train hard, they work hard, they believe in each other, and we expect to win every time we go play a football game. So, I expect our guys to go out there and play their very best and try to bring a W home for Georgia Southern. That's no slight to Boise because they're a great program, and I know we got our work cut out for us, but we're going to go play as hard as we can play and see what happens.
Well, just like the Hall of Fame coach Bobby Knight say, he's not going to change anything until somebody stops it. So I'm assuming until they're able to stop it, you're going to keep on running it. So I can tell you this: a lot of kids are probably going to be watching this interview here, Coach. So if you had something to tell, some of the seniors coming up for the next school year in high school, what do they need to be doing, focusing on if they wanted to play with a program such as yours? What would you tell them?
Well, first and foremost, I tell them concentrate on your team. Concentrate on being the best player for your team. Make sure you're doing your workouts. Make sure you're doing everything to get yourself ready to play, and then be a great teammate, be a great leader, take care of your academics. Don't get caught up in the recruiting world. Obviously, you got to do your homework and you got to make sure that but like to me, man, it's about your team, man. Enjoy the moment. Recruiting is going to take care of itself as long as you're taking care of those little details. So that would be my big message is, man, enjoy your senior year, be a great teammate, and try to do as best you can for your team, and then let recruiting take care of itself.
Well, Coach, I can tell you down here in this Mobile region, we definitely got a lot of young football players coming up, 2022s, 21s. Definitely over at Theodore High School. We got to get you down here, come to recruit some of these kids, send a coach or something down here, and I can tell you, there are a lot of kids down here, and they're definitely hungry. Academically, they're qualifiers. I can tell you that because I've watched plenty of them, and I follow a couple of them. I'll be having a couple of them on this show, matter of fact, coming up real soon, and they're getting ready. They're back out on the field practicing as well, like you guys are. But with the pandemic going on, we know there's a lot of stuff going on around this country. So you guys just stay up, stay safe. I know you're going to have your guys ready, and we definitely thank you for coming on this show today, Coach.
Yeah, no problem. And what I'll say, we're starting to get more and more Alabama kids on our team. My time at Auburn, I have a lot of respect for Alabama high school football. It's a lot like Georgia. I mean, you got a bunch of tough kids that love to play ball and love to win. And so, we're trying to get more and more Alabama kids over here because they've really done a good job for us when we have. And, again, I appreciate y'all having us on. Love talking Georgia Southern football, and just thank y'all and TATA.
There you have it, folks. Georgia Southern head football coach Chad Lunsford. Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.